Good morning, everyone. Excited to be here back on Teacher's Table. I'm Michael Matera. I'm the host of Teacher's Table, but really we are all welcome and we all come here to sort of share some ideas and level up our learning in our classrooms. And I have started the school year, and I know many of you had already, and if you haven't, I know you're about to. So welcome to the Teacher's Table. Let's see who we all have around the table today, because this is a community-based sort of group here. William made it. 63 in Michigan. That fall is coming for us here in Wisconsin as well. Jason made it back. Good to see you, Jason. Just above the freezing mark. Oh man. Heather, good morning. Glad to see you. That's awesome that your sons are trying to crack the geodes they found. Dean made it. Welcome, Dean. I know you were back to school too. I saw it. I saw a picture on Facebook, I think, of you. Let's see. Kathy Sue, good morning. It is early on that West Coast there. I apologize. Let's see. Matt, good morning. Super glad to have you joining us today. That's fantastic. Caitlin, good to see you. David, looking snazzy on that bow tie pick there. Love it. Is that a Lego bow tie? I don't know. That's awesome. Carrie made it back. Good to see you. David, I'm loving the crew that we have assembled today. Kyle, giving you a shout out in a little bit. Maggie, good morning. Just finished week 2. I just finished week 1, and they are changing our schedules. No more virtual in-class combos. Oh, so I do that as well, Maggie. So we had virtual students zooping into class as well as in person. So you guys cancel that, like to one or the other. That's awesome. Jennifer Ledford here, amazing. That's fantastic. Good to see you here. Adam made it. Nice to see you here. And we have Jennifer Knox. This crew. Welcome back, crew. We got a bunch of OG members. We got some new members. That's fabulous. Nick Davis making it. All right, everyone. So I thought I would sort of talk a little bit about what sort of I did in the beginning, because it's stuff that we could kind of use, and I want to kind of hear some of the things that you guys use. So sort of shout out one here I'm going to give to a member of our community here. Kyle did this awesome sort of blog post slash collection of some sort of tweets he put together. All these activities he's also put on the Teacher's Table Facebook community, but these are some really great ones for you to try to do with your students, and super easy to do. Templates are already created, so definitely look into doing some of these. He had some just really good ones. I'm doing one coming up next week, so thank you, Kyle, for sharing these templates. So I think as admin, I'm able to sort of throw that link. So there's the link to his blog post if you want to sort of save that. And again, also think about joining the Teacher's Table Facebook community, and also just a shout out to everyone that's posting there the things they're finding, the things they're creating, because it's really awesome to have kind of a single space to kind of go and grab what you just know is quality content from other educators that you kind of know and respect and love and come around the table with. Jamie Halsey posted something yesterday. I can't wait to check that out. All right, so here's that first one. Definitely some cool things you can do in your class. Let me bounce back here, see what you guys got. Got some nice side chatter here. Kyle, no problem with the shout out. Those were fantastic, and you put it together in such a nice, easily bite-sized takeaway there. All right, so Let's see. All right, guys. So this time, what I want from you guys, if we're chit-chatting about this, is think through how you can kind of share out some of the things you did that kind of worked. I mean, right? We want sort of usable solutions here. I took a good friend of mine, John Meehan, kind of does these stations, and normally they're in-person stations, but I wanted to work through sort of a virtual stations activity, and so I thought I'd start with a John Meehan like sort of template and see if I can kind of twist it up a little bit. So I thought I'd share with you about that. So if I come on over here, boop, here was my sort of training camp, and usually I do a training camp in my class, and I love it, and it's a nice mix of like team activity things and getting kids, building some things, really walking them through kind of almost a little bit of a flavor of what they're going to experience in my class, in these one-off activities that will start to appear often in class. But as you guys know, my class, I have two things I'm up against. One, the same as you guys. If you're in person, you really can't use any of the manipulatives that you're used to using. So I can't really have them build with Legos or Copla blocks. Just can't do it. The other thing I'm up against, and I think Maggie kind of pointed it out, was I'm both virtual and in person. So kind of everything I want to do to honor both types of students, I have to think of activities that we can both do together. And Jason, thank you so much for saying you really like this jump page. So what I did, kind of Meehan style here, there are 10 activities that they're going to have to sort of do in this entering the realm of nobles. And again, I wanted to give them a taste of some of the things we're going to do. Caveat though, I'm using some tools that I haven't used a lot before, so I can't guarantee that I'm going to use them often, but I just thought of tools that would work in that virtual, non-virtual space. And nice little welcome message. I had these kids read this kind of aloud, so kind of like popcorn reading, trying to get as much, having everyone feel like they're part of this. So people sort of read this little backstory that we're going to get started. And then I have sort of the directions. And so what we're going to do here is they're going to do these 10 trials to get into the realm. They have to sort of work with their teammates, which is typically like their house. And what I did with that was they had to, this was tricky. I don't know if I'm going to always do this. It worked, but I made it paced, like class paced. So we had to work together to get the activity done before we could kind of advance to the next activity. And like I said, there were some drawbacks to that, some not. It allowed me to, where I think it's good, is kids that finished early, it really allowed me to practice some of our COVID protocols, and that being like kids can't just kind of meander around. They kind of have to stay in their seat. We've talked to them about bringing kind of an extra book to sort of read in moments where like there's a down moment. And so it kind of gave me a chance to talk about those things while other kids sort of caught up and finished the activity. There was a nice sense, a little bit of group when that's a real big challenge, when you have virtual students and you have everybody 6 feet apart. How do you make them feel as a group? It kind of was nice to sort of work together. And one of the things I did that I modified on John's sort of template here is these graphics at the bottom here, these down here. So they're all black and white. And when we would finish a task, what I did was, beneath those are the colored versions of those graphics. So when we finished an activity, they would come on here, and let's say we did this scroll activity, they'd click it and they'd hit delete, and then it would kind of light up in color. And my sixth graders loved it. They were like, oh man, we finished it. And they had that sense of progress, which was also really, really nice. Let's see what we got. We got some people saying some things. I'm kind of getting long in the tooth here in my story. Love it. So Jennifer Ledford says she loves it. Good for a sparking point. Jennifer Knox, love the page. Beauty is important. Heavens yes, guys. If you can, take the time to sort of add that little element, that little graphic element. It goes such a long way. And I'd really contend this year, gamification, and that at very least that theme that you apply is so very important, because so much is flat. It really feels like a sterile environment in classrooms right now, when everything's in rows, everybody's got to stay separated. You know, we've sort of taken out a little bit of the soul in school. Don't get me wrong, I like being in person, but it feels different. If you're virtual, same thing. It feels different. There's not that same sort of connection level. So anything you can do to kind of bring back the magic is big, and I think that theme, that look is important. So good call, Jennifer. What did you use to make this? So all of this, believe it or not, is just in Google Slides. And I have it jumped straight to present mode here, so you kind of, they're all slides. Kids got a copy of this. This is what we're looking at right now is their player sheet. And this got assigned to them in Google Classroom. So one, it got them into Google Classroom. Two, this is gonna collect all this data, and then I'm gonna get this data from them, and we're gonna be able to, I'm gonna know a lot about my students, right? And we can walk through this in a bit. Let's see what else we have. I don't know what that is. Are you able to use immersive reader? I'm gonna write that down. I'll check that out, Kathy Sue. I'm not certain if I am or I'm not. Yeah, so Jennifer, the cool thing about this is, and John and I talked about it, is you could, looking at this, you could reskin this, right? So this, basically, guys, this is stations. This is a stations activity we're gonna rotate. In this case, we were all doing the same station, but I could easily see how I could build this out and just sort of say, you have to do these 10 stations, donezo, right? But in this one, we had to kind of unlock them together. And here are some of the other things that I added to Meehan's template. For me, if they saw this scroll graphic, that meant that was a resource they had to sort of use to complete that trial, something they might have to read or watch, right? So this was the resource. Then that link graphic, that's what they'd click to go sort of finish it off. Like that might be the spot that they're handing in their homework, or the kind of like worksheet they're working on. That's where they'd get it. Then I added this. This was kind of fun. Curses. So if they saw this graphic on a slide, it meant there's a curse that happened. And to break the curse, they have to sort of do whatever the curse is with fidelity. So for example, I had one where they were doing some work with the mouse. Like all they had to do, they were taking kind of a personality test, and they just kind of had to select A or B with their mouse. However, I made them all have to put their dominant hand behind their back. So now they're using that little like trackpad with their left hand, and it was so funny to kind of see them do that. Made them do that for like 6-7 minutes, and then I said the curse was broken because they all did it with fidelity. But it was those silly little moments, those little like things that you could toss in that made kind of a difference for them, and I really dug that. Carlos, I don't know if you're still here, but welcome from Spain. First time at the teacher's table, and I really appreciate you being here. I also noticed that we have achieved our daily like goals, so let's go ahead and do our confetti party here. So again, guys, we do this because you guys were present. You're here, and we're gonna throw this party. We did this, guys. We hit our like goal. Really appreciate you guys showing up each week, having great, rich discussions. I super appreciate it. Let's see. The Harper. Once I finish my student teaching and get a job, I plan on doing this stuff. Love your book. Awesome. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Stay connected too. Happy to help as you sort of get that first job and start to lay out ideas for you. Awesome. The great community to be part of. Let's see what Jamie says. Can you repeat the part about the color and the black and white versions of the icon? I did what you say and put it back. All right, I will repeat that. So if I go over here, I'm going to get out of present mode for a sec here. Can I get out? Open editor. All right, so this is what it would look like on their computer, right? Because they're getting this in Google Classroom, right? So this is theirs to fill out. And so what I did was I just doubled these up. So see, like now when they delete that one, now it lit up. When they delete this one, it lights up. Because I put a black and white version over the colored version. And the other trick, because I teach 6th grade, probably high schoolers it wouldn't matter, but 6th grade and down for sure it would matter. What I did was I put a lot of this stuff, I built the page the way I wanted, and then I took a screenshot of the page. And then I saved that screenshot as the background. So that way, like they can't, like this colored one's actually part of the background, so they can't delete that by accident. This chart here is part of the background. They can't like select it and grab it and change it. Like it doesn't work, right? So anything you want them to not sort of break, do that where you kind of build out your page the way you want it. Take a screenshot of that and then upload that as the background. And then on top of that background, you put the things you want to interact with. So like over here, they're going to have to type some stuff. So I already put the text boxes with the fonts I want, with the size I want. And now they just pop in here. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's see here. I gotta catch up with you guys here. I can see this for explaining where they are at items. I'm reading Jennifer Ledford's here. This was a piece I'm missing, Mr. Matera. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm glad it's working out. Yes, we had the confetti party. See, I'm catching up. Carlos, so glad you're still with us. Let's see. We got some people that did QR break-ins. That's awesome. All right, so let's take a peek here. Oh, and then the other goofy thing I added, because I teach middle school, is this bell icon, and I have like a little like you're at the front desk, Cal, and you hit and they ding, right? When they hear that, and I say this graphic won't always appear. This is for me. So this is like when you feel like it's kind of boring. We've done like quite a few boring ones in a row, and you need to spice it up. I have this sort of, I can ring the bell, and then they have to get into what I call ready position, and I have 2 different styles of ready position. If they're in person, they have to put their laptop screens to the 45-degree angle, so they're basically not on their laptops, and they have to take their hands and they have to put them on their knees and then kind of focus up front, because I'm going to be giving them some sort of crazy instruction, right? Okay. And if they're online, they obviously don't do the 45, and I say that they have to have their hands in frame like this, like I am, right? So this isn't in frame, that is in frame. And so that's kind of like another little fun poppy thing that I can hit that bell anytime, and it doesn't have to be part of the presentation. All right, so here's an example of one of the steps. So some of the stuff was just stuff I needed to get them to do, right? Like get them to sign up on Google Classroom, but I want to do it in a fun and interesting and poppy sort of way. So here we go. Like they click that link, they click this link, there's their Google Classroom code, right? Here, for example, is my beginning of the year survey. I just want to know about them, like what interests they have, that kind of thing. The other thing I need to collect for those of you that follow me, you know I use dashboard for collecting XP and that kind of thing in the game, so to make a leaderboard and all that. But I need kind of their first name, their last name, the house they're in, and I usually like to collect their email, right? I need that stuff anyways. And in past years, I used to just sort of have a survey that was just those things, because I'm too lazy. I don't want to like manually type out all 100 students, like what house they're in. I want them to do that for me, and then I can just copy and paste that in. This year, I was like, well, why not ask them a fun like survey about like themselves? and obviously collect that information as well. So I kind of killed two birds with one stone here. That was super awesome. Let's make sure I'm keeping up on the chat here. William, yeah, that background tip is big if you teach littles that might delete things, move things around. Jason says, I do the JPEG background all the time. It only took me about having to fix all of the 1,000 times for me to figure that one out. I'll admit, I first started building, didn't do that, and then I was like, this is stupid. They're gonna like bump in. So I was on like slide 4, and I was like, I gotta do this. Jamie, no problem. This template, basically go to John Meehan's blog, and he has lots of these different templates, and really they're ultimately a lot of them are reskins of the same thing, which is the exciting thing I'm telling you about. I could take this template, change the name of the clerk, change that background picture, change what the text is. The idea is the same. Like, you need to do this station, this activity, and if you do, you unlock this, let me go over here, you unlock this graphic right on your player sheet. That's the idea. Let's see. I love seeing you shine in this crazy environment and really stretch your creativity. The bell is genius. We gotta jump in here with these little pops of excitement for the students, shake things up. And the other key thing there for you guys is, like, I built in the curses. There's slides that have that curse on it, but I don't know when the boring is going to happen. So the bell allows me, like I said, it's not actually going to be printed on the slides. You just have to know to do this. And that kind of helps pace things out. Okay, this one was from, let me grab it. Boom. Edu Protocols. So as part of the Hive Summit this year, we had the two authors of Edu Protocols on, and they, John and Marlena, and they walked us through some protocols to use, and I really liked this idea of this thin slide. It's making kind of a class presentation real quick, and so I thought, let's do this. Let's teach them a protocol kind of on day 1. Might be day 2, might be day 3. This took about 3 days to get through all these, but they built this thin slide we're doing. They clicked that little link, and okay, here's the Bartle test. I did the Bartle test where they decide what type, or they figure out what type of gamer they are. And when we did that, they ended up filling in these on their player sheet, their percentages. All right, I had a little hiccup there. I want to make sure you guys are still here. I had a little error pop up that I've never had pop up. So okay, thanks, Kyle. I had a little box that popped up, said stop streaming, and it said, do you want to begin again? I'm like, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Good to know you're still here. So yeah, that's that box and what that's for. Let's see, we had some questions up above, I think. Working on this game this weekend. This is amazing. Mr. Matera, did you separate? Oh, sorry. Let me bring it up for you guys. Jamie says, did you separate your houses based on the person versus remote player? Going to hybrid model in a few weeks. Yikes. I didn't. So the way we're doing it is literally each class period has some virtual students in it. And so they're just part of the house. But this is actually one of the things I wanted to make sure there was equity. So how I delivered this, and this was awesome, and I definitely think you guys should check it out. There's 2 tools you could use, Nearpod or Pear Deck. They're both similar but different. They both offer different things. I am fortunate enough that our school has like a school license to both. So for this particular activity, I used Pear Deck. And what that allows is this would be like for all of you to sort of see and do at the same time as on yours, which made certain no one was skipping ahead a station. Like if this is the station we're on Bartle test, then this is what we were doing. There was no skipping ahead. And once every student was done, then we kind of moved. And the other thing, this is great for students that are at home. There really was an in-person as well as at-home parity because they were all looking at the slide. If they were sitting in their room, they're in their office, this is up, they're doing it. If they're in my classroom, this is up, they're doing it. Really, really worked nice. So hopefully you guys try that out because it really helps. That was really needed for the sort of the way I set this up, that we were all doing this together. If you weren't doing that, then you could just give them a link to this like presentation, right? This is where we did the purpose-driven learning. We talked about like you got to plant your ideas here so that we can harvest them in the future. I kind of already talked about that on the presentation slide. Here, this is where they're going to tell what they're like as a learner on these skills here. And kind of the catch, and I love this, I got John does this on his, is you pick 6 skill sets that you care about. So his is different than mine, but these are the ones that I sort of care about. And then the students have to select where they fall on this sort of chart, but they can only use each number once, which is awesome because 6th graders tend to really view themselves as pretty good, right? So like if I just said, tell me where you're at on this, most people would say there are 4, 5, or 6 in every single one of those things. And most kids would just sort of say they're 5s and here's my 1 6. But that doesn't really tell me. I want to know, like there's got to be something that you're weak on here compared to your strength. So something in here is going to be a 1 and something in here be a 6. Really helps me learn about the student. We are rapidly running out of time. Sorry, folks. This was a new thing I learned, back channel chat. Yeah, I hope this is all good for you guys. I hope you have a great start to your year. I hope you come back to our next Teacher's Table, which is September 14th at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that is coming up in late, and not this Monday, but the following Monday. And like I said, it's a wonderful community. Think about joining the Facebook community. Think about inviting others to the Facebook community, as that really does help bring people in. And I think we are better together. So everybody, thanks so much. Sorry about the little technical difficulty there. And sorry, if you guys are interested, I'm happy to like chat more about some of the things we did. I'm sure throughout the course of Teacher's Tables, we'll get through some of the other tech tools that I'm using, and I'd love to hear more from you guys and what you're doing. So yeah, you guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a little coffee. I hope you have some fun times with your family too. We need to rest and sort of refuel for the rest of the weeks ahead. So I know a lot of us are excited to get in there and design the perfect thing, but make sure that you also design sort of the best life that you can for yourself, and take it easy. So hang out with your family, read a good book, do what you need to do. All right, everybody, you take care.